They say spiritual awakening is bliss, an ascension into divine light, an unraveling of cosmic truths. But what if I told you that's only half the story? What if awakening is not just about enlightenment, but also about destruction, about losing yourself before you can ever hope to be found? There's a reason ancient mystery schools warned that those who seek wisdom must first walk through fire. The journey to awakening is not a gentle ascent. It is a dismantling, a death and rebirth, an initiation into a reality that few are prepared to face. You've been told that enlightenment is about peace, love, and higher vibrations. But no one warned you about the dark nights, the shattering of illusions, the loneliness of knowing what others cannot see. No one told you that awakening is less about gaining something, and more about losing everything you thought was real. From the secret doctrines of the Gnostics to the lost teachings of the ancient yogis, there exists an understanding that true awakening is a paradox, a journey both liberating and terrifying. It is not just the opening of the third eye, it is the closing of the old self. In this video, we will unveil what no one tells you about spiritual awakening, the hidden trials, the forgotten wisdom of ancient seekers, and the real transformations that occur when you step beyond the illusion of self. You will discover why many fear awakening once they truly understand it, and why, despite the hardships, those who walk this path would never turn back. Prepare to go beyond the surface. The truth you are about to hear may change everything. Throughout history, seekers have walked this path, guided not by comfort, but by an unshakable force within. Yet, their stories have been obscured, their wisdom buried beneath centuries of distortion. The ancients knew that awakening was not a single moment of revelation, but a series of initiations, trials designed to dissolve the false self and reveal a deeper reality. In the mystery schools of Egypt, initiates underwent rituals of symbolic death, submerged in darkness for days to sever their attachment to the material world. In the esoteric traditions of the East, sages spoke of moksha, liberation not as an escape, but as a process of burning away illusion. Even the Gnostics, seekers of hidden knowledge in early Christianity, understood that awakening meant confronting the demiurge, the false god of illusion that binds the soul in ignorance. To awaken was to rebel against the system of control, to break free from the chains of false perception. But such revelations were dangerous. And so, their teachings were condemned, scattered, and erased from mainstream history. The reason awakening is feared, misunderstood, and often resisted is simple. It is not an addition to one's life, but a subtraction. It does not bring comfort, it brings chaos. It does not offer reassurance, it demands surrender. The alchemists called this process solve et coagula, dissolve and reform. To awaken is to first dissolve the ego, the identity, the illusions built over a lifetime, so that something truer can emerge. This is why ancient wisdom has always spoken in paradoxes. He who loses himself shall find himself. The way up is the way down. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. The journey does not end in transcendence, it loops back into the world. The enlightened one does not escape reality, but sees it clearly for the first time. But if awakening is natural, why has this understanding been suppressed? The answer lies in control. A society built on illusion cannot afford too many awakened minds. Organized systems of power, whether religious, political, or economic, thrive on certainty, obedience, and external validation. But a truly awakened individual is unpredictable, sovereign, and internally guided. History has shown us what happens when individuals awaken en masse. The Cathars of medieval France, who believed in inner gnosis over external authority, were exterminated. The mystics of Sufism, who spoke of union with the divine beyond religious dogma, were persecuted. Again and again, those who saw beyond the veil were silenced. But the knowledge never truly disappeared. It simply went underground, woven into symbols, hidden in sacred texts, passed down in whispers. And now, in this era of global awakening, it is resurfacing. The question is, are you ready to see it? They don't tell you that spiritual awakening begins not with bliss, but with disintegration. One day, something shifts. A crack forms in the foundation of reality as you knew it. The things that once gave you comfort begin to feel hollow. The ambitions, desires, and beliefs you clung to start slipping through your fingers like sand. You look around, and the world seems unchanged. But something within you is stirring. You start to question everything. The routines of everyday life feel scripted, artificial, like a veil has been pulled back, revealing a hidden layer beneath existence itself. This is the first stage of awakening, the great unraveling, the realization that what you thought was reality was merely a construct. At this point, many people retreat. They try to cling to the old, to patch the cracks forming in their identity. But for those who surrender to the process, the next stage begins, what the mystics called the dark night of the soul. This is the moment where awakening turns from exhilarating to terrifying. The ego fights back. The old self resists death. The beliefs you once held sacred begin to dissolve, and with them, the person you thought you were. The ancient Sufi poet Rumi wrote, "Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you." But few are prepared for this stage. The loneliness, the existential dread, the feeling of being untethered from reality. Relationships shift. The things that once brought you joy may now feel meaningless. You might even feel as though you are going insane. Yet paradoxically, this is not a breakdown, it is an initiation. In shamanic traditions, the initiate must undergo a symbolic death before emerging with new vision. In Tibetan Buddhism, the Bardo state, the transition between death and rebirth, is said to be filled with illusions meant to test the soul. The same applies here. Your old self must die so that your true self can emerge. Then something shifts. Maybe it happens gradually, or maybe in an instant. But one day, you see it. The illusion was never real to begin with. The attachments, the fears, the endless pursuit of external validation, all of it was a story. You are not the mind that worries. You are not the identity that society gave you. You are not bound by the limitations you once believed. And in that moment, true awakening begins. This is why enlightenment is not about gaining something. It is about seeing what was always there. The sages have said it for centuries. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. Rumi, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Jesus, the only Zen you find at the top of the mountain is the Zen you bring with you. Alan Watts. Once you see, you cannot unsee. But this is only the beginning. The deeper questions remain. If reality is an illusion, then what is truly real? If the self is a construct, then what remains when it dissolves? In the next section, we will dive even deeper into the forgotten wisdom of ancient traditions, the paradoxes of consciousness, and the real reason why many who awaken fear what they find. You've seen the illusion. You've felt the ground shake beneath your feet as your old self crumbled. But what comes next? This is where most teachings stop. They tell you that once you see through the veil, you are free. That enlightenment is a destination, a state of permanent bliss. But the truth is far more complex. The ancient masters knew that awakening is not an escape from reality. It is a deeper entanglement with it. The illusion was never the world itself, but the way we perceived it. Now, stripped of false identity, you begin to see reality as it is, raw, interconnected, infinite. But here lies the paradox. Once you awaken, you must now learn how to exist within the dream while knowing it is a dream. This is the forgotten stage of awakening, the return. In many ancient traditions, the awakened one was never meant to retreat from the world. Instead, they were called to re-enter it, with eyes wide open. In the Taoist concept of Wu Wei, the master moves effortlessly through life, flowing with the universe rather than resisting it. In Zen Buddhism, the enlightened one returns to simplicity, performing everyday tasks, chopping wood, carrying water, as sacred acts. In Hinduism, Krishna teaches that true wisdom is not detachment from life, but participation in it without attachment. This is where awakening becomes the ultimate test. Many who reach this stage feel lost, unable to reconcile their new perception with the demands of the physical world. The mundane structures of society, jobs, relationships, ambitions, now seem absurd, artificial, and yet one must continue to exist within them. The Bhagavad Gita warns of this. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is truly wise. Meaning, the awakened must learn the art of living within the illusion without being consumed by it.
Here is the greatest secret. There was never anything to awaken from. Reality did not change. You did not become something new. You simply remembered what was always there. The Zen master Bankei called this the unborn mind, the eternal awareness that has always existed, beyond thought, beyond form. When you awaken, you do not become enlightened. You realize you were never unenlightened to begin with. This is why those who truly understand awakening do not seek to escape reality. They laugh, they dance, they embrace life fully, because they know that the divine is not found in separation, but in total immersion. Yet, many fear this realization, because if there is nothing to seek, no grand final destination, then what is left? This is where the true adventure begins. In the next section, we will explore the practical applications of awakening, how to integrate this wisdom into everyday life, how to navigate the challenges of an awakened mind, and most importantly, how to live in harmony with both the illusion and the truth. Awakening is not an escape, it is an invitation to live fully, to engage with life from a deeper, more conscious state. But the real challenge is integration. Many seekers get trapped in the void between worlds, too awakened to fit into ordinary life, yet too human to transcend it completely. They feel detached, adrift, unsure of how to exist, now that the old rules no longer apply. This is where most falter. They chase new spiritual highs, searching for the next revelation. But true mastery lies not in escaping reality, but in learning how to walk within it. So how do you live as an awakened being in a sleeping world? Grounding, anchoring yourself in the present. The first step is grounding. Awakening opens the doors of perception, but without balance, it can leave you feeling disconnected, lost in abstraction. Many ancient traditions emphasized grounding practices to help integrate higher consciousness into the physical world. Techniques to stay grounded, mindful action, do simple tasks with full awareness, walking, eating, even washing dishes. This anchors your consciousness into the present. Nature immersion. The earth is your stabilizer. Walk barefoot, sit under trees, breathe deeply. Let the physical world remind you that spirituality is not separate from life. Breathwork. Ancient yogic practices like pranayama help regulate energy, preventing mental overstimulation and restoring balance. The goal is not to escape the world, but to be fully present within it. The art of detachment, engaging without attachment. Now that you see through the illusion, how do you navigate it? The answer lies in detached engagement, a state where you participate in life, but without being consumed by it. The Bhagavad Gita teaches, perform your duty without attachment to the results. Act, but do not let action define you. This means live, love, create, and experience. But don't cling. Don't identify with the transient. See through the drama of life, but don't reject it. Enjoy the play, knowing it's a play. Let go of control. Realize that awakening does not mean forcing life to conform to your desires, but flowing with it effortlessly. Detachment is not disconnection. It is freedom. Navigating relationships after awakening. One of the hardest challenges after awakening is relationships. The more conscious you become, the more you realize that much of human interaction is built on illusion, ego battles, unconscious patterns, and societal conditioning. This can lead to loneliness. You may feel distant from old friends, misunderstood by loved ones. But remember, isolation is not the goal. The awakened do not reject others. They lead by example. How to navigate relationships. Be patient. Others may not see what you see, but that does not make them less. Let them walk their own path. Listen more. Speak less. Truth is best understood through experience. Instead of preaching, embody the wisdom. Let your presence be the teaching. Find your tribe. Seek those who resonate with your frequency. You are not alone. There are others awakening, just like you. Love, but without expectation. Guide, but without force. Let relationships be an extension of your awakening, not a burden upon it. Purpose. After awakening, what do you do with this knowledge? Many assume that spiritual awakening leads to a grand mission, a divine purpose revealed in a flash of light. But the great paradox is that awakening strips away the need for purpose entirely. There is no cosmic role you must fulfill, no external task you must chase. Instead, you realize that your very existence, right here, right now, is enough. So live. Do what brings you joy. Create. Serve. Teach. Learn. Experience. Not because you must, but because you can. When the Zen master was asked what he did after enlightenment, he simply said, "I chop wood, I carry water." That is the essence of true awakening, not the abandonment of life, but the full embrace of it. Final thought. You are already where you need to be. There is nothing more to seek, no final key to unlock. The journey itself is the destination. All that remains is the choice. Will you resist the flow, or will you surrender to it? Now, as you step forward with awakened eyes, ask yourself, how will I live this truth? The answer is already within you. You were never meant to stay the same. Every moment, life is shifting, dissolving, and reforming, just as you are. What you once believed to be you was only a layer, a temporary form within an infinite unfolding. Spiritual awakening is not an end. It is a doorway, a remembering of something ancient, something eternal, something that was never lost, only forgotten. But here is the truth no one tells you. Awakening does not free you from life. It binds you to it more deeply than ever before. Because now you see. Now you understand. The illusion was never the world itself. It was the way you saw it. And now, stripped of illusion, you are left with the raw, unfiltered truth. This is it. This breath, this moment, this life. The sages, mystics, and awakened beings throughout history have all whispered the same secret. There is nowhere else to go. You are already here. The question is no longer, what is reality? The question is, now that you see it, how will you live? If this message resonated with you, it means something within you is stirring. You are remembering. You are awakening. But this journey is not meant to be walked alone. So, what now? Reflect on these insights. Let them settle. Let them shape you. Comment below. What part of this resonated with you the most? Let's start a conversation. Subscribe for more hidden wisdom, because the journey doesn't end here. The path ahead is yours to walk. But know this, you are not alone. Welcome to the awakening.